What up, guys? Coach Jimmy here again with another episode of Tech Talk. Today we have somebody special on here. He's been my student for a while. It's Dayvion Huttoe. And then Coach Taylor. Guys, Dayvion's been training with me for a while. I'm not exactly sure how long he's been training with me, but we're going to get some good insight on his thought process as far as what training's done for him, how it's changed his life. Like why he would recommend it, why he wouldn't recommend it, the ups and downs of training, and just all the mental stresses that comes along with it. But first, I want to talk about our sponsor of the show. Our sponsor of the show is Beard and Chiropractic Care. Guys, he's the only guy in town that can straighten a preacher out. He has literally changed my life as far as what I'm able to do. I had back surgery in 2012, had problems with disc in my neck, all kind of different things. I've battered my body and beat my body. I was a person that thought chiropractic care was pseudoscience. I did not think it was like a real thing that was going to actually help you until I done it. Now I swear by it. I go to them every time I have any aches, anytime I have muscles or knee joint pain, anything like that, I'll go. He'll give me a care plan. It'll get me on the right track. I'll get, I don't even know what this thing's called, but I call it like an ice wand. He puts this thing on there. It's ultrasound. It's an ice wand. It's ultrasound, but I call it ice wand because it's like this cold ass gel that they stick on you and they like rub it around and it like creates heat, but it gets rid of inflammation. And like I said, I thought it was all pseudoscience, but now I'm a believer because it literally helps a guy who is 37, fixing to be 38 years old. It helps that guy stay on the mat with these young bucks, these guys that are getting after it hard. So, anyway, that's the sponsor of our show, Beard and Chiropractic Care, Dr. Grantham. If you guys have any ailments or anything like that, go check that guy out because he is a blessing to our school. He's a blessing to us, and we're just really lucky to have someone like that on our team that was willing to sponsor our show. If you're interested in sponsoring our show, reach out. We still have a few more sponsor spots open. You guys just let us know that you're interested, and we'll get it done. Next on the list is our Strange Matter Invitational, SMI Invitational. Strange Matter Invitational is what SMI stands for. Guys, that's our tournament that we run here, Tech Center. It's for kids, and it's a sponsor of the show simply because it's us, and we kind of let kids earn their tournament money back and stuff like that to pay their tuition and stuff because we can't physically give the kids money. But every bit of the money goes back to the competitors that win. So that tournament is for the grapplers. It's not for our school. It is for the people. And that is our second sponsor. Anyway, today we're going to get after it. Coach Taylor, quick question for you. You changed the timing for your adult women's class. Today was the first day that you done that. There was a lot of noise today, but did it change the way it felt, or did it change anything as far as the way you guys done it? Was it better, worse? Do you think it's going to take some getting used to?
I definitely think it's going to take some getting used to. I think it was a good change because I did speak with them after class and, how did they like it? What did they think about it? And this was the biggest Thursday class that I've had. So it was a good change. I do think that we're going to have to get used to sharing the mat because we split the class with our competitive kids. And, it was fine. There was no overlap, but usually when we're in here, it's quiet. It's just us, and they get to have some girl time. So on Thursdays, they get to be in a more, chaotic environment, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. So
yeah,
I think it was good.
I noticed that it was loud, and I literally walked over there and turned the the music down just a tad. And I don't even know if Bam noticed that I did it. Just so you guys know, Coach Bam's still doing these with us. I waited a little late, so that's the reason why we don't have Coach Bam. He gets up early in the morning, and so we get to miss Coach Bam. My fault. just an oversight on my part of not realizing how late it was. But anyway, I don't even think he noticed that I turned the music down, but it got a little loud for my taste. And you guys know I'm like quiet. I'm talking. I'm the center of attention, or like listen to me when I speak type person. And when there's a billion people talking at one time, for me it's a little uncomfortable because I can hear all the conversations. And when you got 20 conversations going on trying to keep track, and you're not supposed to be keeping track, but you try to keep track anyway because you're retarded.
Yeah, it was a little difficult. And I guess I didn't even notice that you had turned the music down, but I noticed it got easier. But in the beginning, I felt like I was just yelling, trying to coach over the music. And then when we circled back up for the back take, I felt like it went over a little bit better. But I think it's just some getting used to, but it's a good change because not everyone could make it as early as it was. And, you know, I still want to grow the program. And if that's what we got to do, then that's what we got to do.
I think it's gonna be one of those things where the more they get comfortable with the noise and stuff. It wasn't super bad once I turned the music down. I'm guessing Bam usually plays that music kind of loud because his competitors are supposed to be getting after it.
Yeah, and they were just rolling today.
Yeah, so I bumped the music down so you could coach, and I feel like it did quieten everything down a little bit because we had parents talking, which is something you usually don't have to deal with. Then we had all the kids on the other side of the mat, which parents were yelling across to the kids, and then kids were getting yelled at by Coach Bam, and then there was the music. Then you trying to teach. I was like, all right, what can I do to make the noise just a little bit lower? And I chose the music.
Yeah, I think next time, because the way that we had divided the mat up today, the kids were at one end, I was at the other end, and the parents were by me. I think next time we need to be at the other end and put the kids by the parents.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, he lined the kids up at that end before I got out because I was a little late getting to class with everything going on. So he was already at that end, and we just
as he was lining them up, I asked. I was like, "You know, you're splitting the mats today." He's like, "Yeah, Taylor told me." And I was like, "Oh, okay. She must want her people on that end."
No, so we're just figuring out day one.
But how do you feel overall? Do you feel like it was a good, like the feeling of the room today? Was it better?
It was awesome because Thursdays, I mean, to be honest, Thursdays have been very discouraging because no one could be here that early. So it would just be me and maybe one other person. So today it was good. There was a couple of us on the mat. Everyone was learning, and they were really getting it today too. Like they were, I don't know what it was. So I think that it was a good environment just because everyone had a good day. So I'm excited, but I think it'll be good. And I also like the fact that there are other people in the gym while I'm doing this class now because other moms might look at it and say, hey, I kind of want to try that. Instead of it just being an empty gym and the only way you hear about it is through social media.
That makes sense. Yeah, and I have a hard time, like, even like doing private lessons. I was doing those for a little while. On private lessons, like, I make my person that's doing a private lesson, I don't make them, but I suggest that they bring somebody with them, and maybe they split the cost of it together. That way they both can benefit from it. It's so hard to just teach to like one person, and it's even harder to teach to two people when one person isn't really invested. Like if one person isn't invested and the other person is, and then the one person isn't taking it as serious as the other person, it is so hard. And when we started getting more numbers, coaching got so much easier.
Yes, it's so much easier
because
when there's more than two people on the
you
mat.
can partner the serious people and then the not serious people, and then let the vibe of each person kind of play off each other. And sometimes a serious person will motivate the not so serious person to get better and to do better and like different things like that. But it's still hard for me. I like a big room where everybody's kind of vibing and they're around their own people and you don't have to give them that energy to get them excited.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, they're excited. And I find that it's easier to teach that way. Another thing is like, I love having white belts on the mat that are super excited about learning this stuff. But if you got one that's super excited and one's just like, it's very hard. So I enjoy having junior coaches that I can kind of let them help me navigate that stuff. That's why I want, like, my blue belts, and my purple belts. That's why I like having them here, because I can kind of be like, hey, Dayvion, stick with this person until it starts clicking. And that's how we bring them into our world and get them enjoying and liking what we like, you know?
Yeah. Dayvion's starting to get his taste of coaching too. What do you think so far?
Personally, I'm not really the best teacher, but I mean, it builds character. It teaches me things I'm not good at doing, and it makes me good at doing them, you know? Putting yourself in an uncomfortable position to get comfortable.
I think you're a better teacher than you think you are. We were watching you the other day, and you were becoming a really good leader. Like the way that you're breaking things down and talking to people, and you're really growing in that aspect. I noticed it. You and I had this conversation the other night.
We were talking about it when he was going over the stuff with Jansen, like talking about your like the 4 horsemen and stuff for striking and stuff like that. Like how good and well you broke down the movement, and it like that's the reason why like we got one kid that I was like, hey, when he's in the gym, you're his partner. I put him with you because you have that understanding enough, and you have a personality that kind of brings people out of their shell a little bit. That's why I wanted you to get with the shyer kid, is because your personality bring them out, and you kind of know what you're doing enough to be able to help. So
yeah, I put him with my women too. Whenever they decide to try adult class, you know, we'll do class, and I usually partner with them or one of the other ladies in class. But whenever we're rolling at the end, I'm like, yeah, roll with Dayvion, and he'll go and he'll spend time with them, and it's the coolest thing.
Which brings me to my question: how many years have you been training?
3.5, 4 years. I'm not entirely sure myself, but I started when I was like 13, 12, going on 13.
How old are you now?
16.
Okay.
About 3-4 years.
So 3 or 4 years. What belt are you?
Blue belt.
Blue belt. How'd you feel when you got that thing?
I cried. It was a lot of hard work. Blood, sweat, and tears, literally. Not knowing what to do when I started to knowing what to do now. It motivates you, you know, going from goal to goal to goal to the big goal, and then do it all over again.
Have you felt the decline in the motivation a little bit since you got your blue?
Yes, because after you get your blue, it's like you have to, like, switch your mindset, sort of, because, like, you're no longer, like, not, like, you know what you're doing, but, like, you think you don't. It's
live
weird.
up to being a blue
you have
belt.
to, like, yeah, exactly. Yep. You
I
can't.
understand.
You're not held at a low expectation. You have to like present yourself in a way where, you know, you're kind of a leader. You know, you're supposed to help other people. You're supposed to, like, you know, it's a lot.
I know what you're trying to say. What do you think he's trying to say though, Taylor?
Oh, man, you just feel all this pressure because if he feels anything like I did, whenever I got my blue belt, I didn't feel like I was actually a blue belt. And so now I have this rank, and now I'm like, my skills got to back this up. Like, what if I'm not good enough? And you feel this pressure like, nah, I got to act like a blue belt. Like, I can't ask that question because what if that's a white belt question? Like, it just makes you feel like you're supposed to be a certain level whenever you feel like you aren't really there yet.
Also, that same mindset also has to do with just you. Like, when I became a blue belt and all these people were giving me advice, I had to just be like, okay, it's not about other people. It's about me. Like, if I feel like I'm doing something wrong, then I have to fix it. I can't rely on other people to fix it for me, you know? Like, skill-wise, like, it's okay to lose as long as I'm learning. Now, if I'm not having fun, then, you know, that's not their fault. It's my fault. I have to fix me. It's my mentality.
Dude, that's probably one of the most accurate things I've ever heard as far as self-growth goes on the podcast. Really taking a look at yourself and like realizing where you are. Also, so what if it's a white belt question?
Yeah.
Like that, like all the pressure that you guys are feeling about being good and all that stuff, you're doing that to yourself because you're like, I want to live up to this expectation of a blue belt.
I think it's just in the beginning because I haven't felt that way the whole time. It's just in the beginning you feel that way.
Yeah. And that's the reason why I asked the question that I asked, mostly because people go through this phase where they're like, oh, I'm a blue belt now. Now I'm supposed to win every roll. Like I'm never supposed to lose.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be in bad positions. I'm supposed to know all this stuff now. It's just not realistic. Even as a brown belt, black belt, purple belt, you still get put in bad positions and people roll differently. And you're still learning and like figuring all this stuff out. And the cool thing is like once you get a black, now you're a black belt, right? You're never supposed to lose. You're never supposed to be in a bad position. And it's not real. Purple belts smoke black belts all the time. Competitive purple belts. Purple belts are trying to prove that they're good enough to be brown belts. Brown belts are trying to prove they're good enough to be black belts. So like the most dangerous person on the mat is probably a hungry purple belt because they know enough to break you, but they don't know enough not to. Meaning they haven't balanced out the control and like the slow down and the mentality like, hey, I'm actually good at this. A lot of times they're still not feeling how good they are. They feel like people don't see how good they are and they're trying to prove it. And that's the group of people that will hurt you. I think the most dangerous person in the room is like a brand new white belt, like a day one white belt. And then the next most dangerous person in the room as far as being skilled is like higher level purple belts that are like trying to prove they're brown belts. Those guys, they start getting a little crazy and their technique's there. And they're like, no, I'm going to show you. And now it's a hard roll. And obviously at our school, we try to preach a little different than that. Everything in our school is about control. It's about staying in control, keeping that pressure, whether you're on top or bottom. Make them do the work to where you can capitalize on it. It's that type of mentality at our school. So we don't have that problem a lot. But, man, if I don't see it from visitors or from people from other schools, they're like, I'm a purple belt. And they're just like wanting to test their skills against higher belts. And they're like trying to prove that they're better than they are. But the decline. So here's what actually happens to blue belts, and I'm starting to realize the psychology behind it. You start focusing on the blue belt because you feel like you're close to getting your blue belt. So your focus shifted from learning techniques and being good at jiu-jitsu to getting a belt. Well, then it's like, I'm close, I know, because I can hang with this person and they just got theirs, or I'm getting close to that age and these other people all learning the same stuff. So you start getting close. Well, that belt becomes your goal. So, and not the knowledge, but getting the belt. So now here you are focused on getting your belt. Where your focus goes, energy flows. Where your focus goes, energy flows. So you start focusing on getting the belt. Well, then you get your belt.
And what?
Now what? All of your energy and all of your focus was getting that belt. Well, the next belt, you're looking at it and you're going, man, that's 2 or 3 years away. Now all the motivation that you had to get that belt, now where do you put it in? If you don't refocus it to learning jiu-jitsu so that you can get the next belt or get the skills to get your next belt, you start saying, man, I don't want to go today. Or, man, I'm not doing as good now because the people that were being nice to you when you were white belt that was not rolling as hard,
Nice to you, yeah.
they're no longer being nice. Now they're like, nope, you're a blue belt. And you're rolling harder, not realizing like you feel like you got something to prove. So now you're rolling harder. So now they roll harder. And now the level of roll has went up. So now you're not doing as good. Now you're discouraged. You got your blue belt. So now when's the next hurdle? 2 years away? Man, dang. Then you start feeling that pressure and it causes a blue belt blues. And I'm realizing it's because people are realizing they're close to getting their blue belt. So their focus shifts to getting their blue. Then they get their blue, and now they don't have anywhere to put that focus because now they got the belt. They did the goal. So you guys need to immediately hammer down and get onto that goal as far as getting good, so you can start focusing on your next goal, which is to get good enough to get your purple. Or it shouldn't be about belt chasing. It should be about knowledge chasing. And if you can chase the knowledge, you'll never hit that plateau. Obviously, you're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have your good days and your bad days. We all do. But you won't hit hard plateaus to where you're having to readjust your goals. But we all been through it. You said you've been training 3-4 years. You're a blue belt now. What is it? How has this changed your life? How has jiu-jitsu or MMA or the school, how has it changed your life to like your focuses? Who was you before it? Has it changed you at all? Any of that stuff? Because I remember the kid that walked through the door.
Oh, man.
What'd you say?
I say you and me both.
Gotcha.
When I first came here, a typical person would say I'm a bad kid, which I mean I was bad. I was disrespectful. I was acting the fool in school, and I was just not where I'm supposed to be mentally. So it was rough. So when I got here, I was kind of like, this is martial arts. I have to, prove myself. Like you said, the most dangerous people on the mat are the brand new white belts. They want to prove that they belong in the school. And I was like, well, this is nice. Let's beat some people up. But it didn't work out that way at all. Like, I got humbled quick. And then just from there on out, my character has gotten better. Like, I build character. My mindset has been, I've changed a lot. I can't even explain it all because this has been so much, like, 4-year span of what's happened. A lot.
Do you feel like you're a completely different person now?
Yes. Definitely.
Better? Worse?
Better. Way better.
One of my favorite Dayvion moments is we were just talking about the blue belt blues. I kind of went through them last year. Around last summer, I was still here, but I was doing the bare minimum. Sometimes I would skip out on class or, I was just here just enough that I hadn't quit yet.
Did that too.
But he came up to me one day and he said, "Can I talk to you?" Yeah, I guess so. I didn't know what was about to come out of his mouth. So we went back to the office, and he was just as serious. He said, "I'm worried about you." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, you're not training as much." He said, "I can tell that, you just aren't feeling very good, but you need to get back on the mat. The longer you go without training, the people are getting better. So whenever you get back on the mat, it's going to be even harder." He was like, "I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to quit." And he sat down and had a heart-to-heart conversation with me about getting past what I was dealing with. And he's 16. And I was like, well, if this kid can realize this and see what's going on, then I should be able to as well. And that was one of the things that got me back really training.
What did you think about that?
That's pretty cool. I remember that.
Yeah.
But
you didn't know the impact that it had.
No, sir. I thought it was just another motivational speech, hoping it would work.
Dude, she come home and was telling me about it when you talked to her. And she was like, "Man, I'm proud of him." And we've noticed a huge difference from the kid that come in here to the kid that's now. And it's just those life lessons. And I actually have a couple of guys that are working at another school now. But that's the difference between our place and a lot of others, is the way that we care about people and the way that we instill life lessons for your everyday life and the way that we talk to one another. And one of the biggest things that I try to talk to you guys and instill in you guys is like some of the stuff that you're saying to yourself, you would never say to no one. You would never say to anyone else. You have to watch how you talk to yourself. You're like me. I would tell myself like, oh, it ain't worth it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you have to think. Nobody cares what you have to say. Why would you open this school? Why would you want to teach martial arts? Nobody cares about the way that you do it. They want to see the way this black belt does it or the way this other person does it. Why do you think people would want to listen to you? And I had to shut that dude up and get myself out of my own way to put this school here to try. And it was hard. Doing the live videos, doing the Coach Jimmy's, all of that stuff was about me overcoming my internal dialogue. It was about me overcoming the fear of not being enough. And all the bad shit that I was telling myself. I would never tell someone I dislike that they're not worth it or not, that I wouldn't listen to them. Or like even people that I dislike, and there's some people that I dislike, I wouldn't talk to them the way that I was talking to myself. And so now I make that a part of my everyday lessons is like, no, you have to listen to what you're telling yourself. You have to listen to that internal dialogue, and you have to really pay attention to the conversations that you're having with yourself. Because if you're telling yourself that you're not enough and you're telling yourself, you're going to start believing you. And then you're not going to do the things that you know you need to do. I'm having that same struggle right now with our online university. Same one. It's like I'm posting our daily classes, and then I'm looking at stuff. And some of the stuff that I'm saying and doing in class is to try to get you guys on board. But then I'm not feeling real confident because the world's going to see the internal thoughts and dialogues that I'm having with you guys. And it's like, what if these people disagree? What if it makes us get a bad reputation? Or like, what if it gets out there and people take it the wrong way because they don't feel what we feel, that are the camaraderie and stuff that we have inside the school. They don't have the same relationships. You know, so it's really hard to overcome that internal dialogue. Even now, as successful as I am with all the stuff, that's what this podcast was about. I don't know if y'all knew that, but the Coach Jimmy stuff and this podcast has all been about me overcoming my fear of sharing my views with the world and worrying about being judged and all those different things. So everyone has that, and you have to learn. Hey, tell that dude shut the fuck up. Shut up. Excuse my language. But tell that internal dialogue, I am worth it. Shut up. And keep pushing yourself to do better and become better, and shut them up. The fear of looking bad or the fear of being judged is the only fear that's going to stop you from reaching your potential. It's not good. Feeling that is not good. And the more you can face that fear, the more you can get that person to shut up, the more success you'll find, and the right people, the right avatars will find themselves around you. The right people will put themselves in your life for you to grow and be better. So if you want to be a world champion,
don't give up.
Start putting yourself around people with world champion attitudes.
Mindsets, yeah.
And it's easy to do. With internet, you could follow all of them. You could literally find some of the people that are putting some of that world champion mindset out there. Like, not just like, look at Connor and like what he willed into existence. He never changed gyms. He never changed gyms. He was with the same gym that didn't have anybody in the UFC before him and after. After he made it, he didn't turn his back on that gym. He cross-trained, but that was his home gym. He did all of his stuff there. He actually brought higher-level competitors to his gym to help him with his camps and stuff, but he never changed his thing. He just changed how he was thinking about it, how he was doing things, the work that he was putting in. Done all that stuff. And that's my rant for tonight.
I want to speak on mindset.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I don't think I know because it happened to me. I think people watch all these motivational videos and hear all these speeches from everybody, but they don't do anything about it. Because I did it. Like, I was like watching this YouTube video about motivation, how to be mentally tough, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna do it, but I wouldn't do nothing about it, and I would just expect it to happen, and then I'd give even more down. Like, it's not about the mindset's the start, it's the showing up part, but it's the work. You have to do something about it. You can't just expect it to happen.
Action.
You have to do it. Yeah.
That was our word of the day. Action. That's why. Like, do you know what a plan is without action? It's a dream. That's what a plan is without action. It's a dream. You think about that. Like, I could write a plan on that board and never take action, then it's just a dream. But the moment I start taking action, it is now a plan. The moment I start working towards whatever's on that board, that's why my goals are on that board. I write them down. I make a little short note every time in my phone. Almost every morning I make a short note. If you go through my notes, I never go through them, but I write them every morning. I never go through them, but I write them every single morning. And the reason I do that is because I want to stay the path. And as long as I write them down, I remember what my goals are. And as long as I remember what the goals are in the back of my mind, I'm slowly working towards them. I'm slowly accomplishing them. So when what you're saying right now is listening to those motivational speeches is all good and all, but they're just you listening to something if you don't have action. So you have to have action. And I think that's the part that people miss. They want everything perfect. So I did this with Online University. That's why it took us 1.5 years to launch it, is I want it perfect. Well, do you know what the enemy of done is? Perfection. Like, if I started cutting your hair and I kept going back and looking and saying, all right, this little bit needs to be done, this little bit needs to be done, this little needs to be done. I could constantly do that until you don't have any hair left. Or I have to leave some of the minor imperfections of the things that I'm seeing that no one else will probably see because they're not going to pay that close attention. I'm going to have to leave some of it to say I'm done. So sometimes getting the submission in training or getting submission in, it doesn't fall into your lap perfect. But if you can get the submission, then it's done, right? But if you try to get into the perfect positioning before you try to submit, sometimes you miss it because you're trying to readjust, and that readjustment allows enough space for that person to escape. You're shaking your head, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm that person. Wait, I missed step 2. How am I at step 10? Let's back up. No, Taylor, just choke the person.
Yeah, get it.
Just go. Like, I'm that person.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about, is the enemy of done is perfection. So sometimes you just need to do it. And so, yeah, listening to motivational stuff and all is cool and all, but without the work, without showing up. And that's the secret sauce to getting good at jiu-jitsu. Showing up, dude.
You don't have to have the background at all. You don't have to grow up poor or be that small person in school. Just, you got to have that mentality, that want to do it.
Yeah, show up. I tell everybody that's the secret. Dude, I started with like 6 guys, and all of them was 200 pounds but one. And I was 130 pounds. Next closest person to me was 190. And this was at the second school that I was at, but it's the first one that I was really, really taking it serious. So, but yeah, those guys, man, they were all bigger than me, stronger than me. And they all like put a whooping on me regularly. But I kept showing up. I changed schools twice because of moving around and like realizing that the school wasn't what it said it was. The legitimacy of the school wasn't real. But I got around some legit guys, continued, never missed a day, kept showing up. All the guys that I started with quit. And when I opened my school, some of them would come back and try it. And that, like, they're still big guys, and I'm still a small guy. I'm still 140 pounds, and not right now, but
I was about to say, how much you weigh, thick Jimmy?
yeah. But I'm talking about when I first opened, not in this last year, but when I first opened a school. Yeah, those guys come back, and I was still when I opened this school, I was 140 pounds. Like I was 141, 142, like fluctuating 140, 142.
Like where I'm just...
Yeah, and that's who I was, and these guys come back, and it was a different thing. Like I like pretty much could do anything I wanted to do to these guys, and it was easy. And it wasn't because I'm better or whatever, but I was better, but it was because I kept showing up. Because when we started, they were way more athletic, way bigger, way stronger, and they beat the shit out of me. And then I just stuck with it, and they didn't. And when they come back, I was better. And that's how. I just didn't. I just kept showing up. That's the secret. That's the answer.
It's not going to be easy. Like, just people think, okay, I'm coming every day. It's going to be easy. I'm going to get good. It's going to be fast. It's going to be quick. I'm going to be a black belt.
No, it's not fast.
It's going to be hard. Like, you're going to have those down moments, and pushing through that is what makes you stronger. That's what's going to make you that black belt you want to become, that succeeding man in life, is not giving up.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing you was talking about a black belt. I think that's a good goal is to set for yourself as black belt. And even though it's a far one away, I think that if you focus on that, maybe that's better than focusing on the next belt. I don't know the actual answer for that, because what happens when you get your black? Are you going to quit at that point? Are you going to stop showing up? I don't know. I think at some point it just becomes chasing knowledge, because I want the black belt, or I don't want the coveted black belt, but I don't think that's the end goal. Like if I was told right now, you'll never get your black belt. If I was told like you'll never have a black belt, I don't think it'll change a thing. Like my knowledge is not going to change. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep trying to get better. I'm going to keep going over to different gyms and getting different perspectives and just watching and growing. It's like nothing changes. Like it's not that. It's like I've been doing this 20 years. It's not going to change anything. The belt for me, I think at some point it becomes about the knowledge and being the best that you can be. Not it's like be all you can be, the Army or whatever, but so it comes to the point at a certain time where you are just trying to be the best you, and grow into
yourself to others, being you.
Grow into who you can become, and like just trying to be better. And then once you get that mentality, the belts will come, everything else will come, and it'll be probably something that you stick with for the rest of your life. Bless you.
Feel better.
Yeah. So, what are some of your goals?
Well, the biggest goal I have right now is to hold up that UFC belt in my weight class. That is the goal. I literally dream about that.
So you want to be an MMA fighter?
Yes, I want that. As much as like the hard-working man out there that wants it himself, just as bad as him. I want it.
All right, so let's talk about that. Are you running in the mornings? You showing up to morning class? You doing 2-a-days?
No, sir, I'm not at the moment.
Huh?
No, sir, I'm not.
So right now you're just talking shit.
It's part of the journey.
Okay, but we do have to give him the credit for what he is doing, because he is showing up to 2-3 classes
when
every
I am
day.
Here, I'm doing as much as I can, because I can't, like, because my parents, like, they support the dream, but like they can't 24/7 get me here. Like morning classes, my mom.
All right, let me ask you this. Hold on. I got a follow-up question before you give me your handful of excuses, because this is a teachable learning moment for both of us, for me as a coach, you as a student. All right. How far away do you live?
I was maybe 7-8 minutes.
7 or 8 minutes.
7 or 8 minutes.
Couple miles.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you live 2.5 miles away. Pretty sure that's the measurement. 2.5 miles away, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 3. How long is a 3-mile run?
Depends on how fast you're running, I guess.
Oh,
For me, it'd take a while. I've learned that I'm.
How long is a 3-mile walk? What do you need to be doing to be the best in the world? Just a question.
Not enough.
All right, so
I do want to talk about that.
oh yeah, let's talk about it because it's almost time. I said
I
30 minutes and we're 10 minutes over. But hold on. No, I want to talk about this because I want you to understand something. When I was fighting, when I was doing kickboxing, when I was doing tournaments, taekwondo tournaments, and then I was doing kickboxing, boxing, and then I started in MMA. I was running in the morning. Then I was doing striking at lunch. Then I was doing wrestling. Then I was doing BJJ in the afternoons. 3 to 4 times a day, I was working out and doing stuff because I wanted to be one of the best. And in my mind, the person that I was fighting was always working harder than me.
Oh, yeah.
In my mind, they were always doing more. So I was never doing enough. And I would break my body down so bad that I needed the weekend to rest to build my body's strength and recover. And I was not actually fully recovering even with a 2-day rest because of how hard I was pushing myself. Not necessarily the right way to go, right? But it's not wrong either. In the sense that I needed to be outworking my opponent. In the sense that I needed to be working smarter in the right ways and building myself more so than my opponent. If you want to hold up a UFC belt, you have to do more than the other fighters. You have to become tougher. You have to put in a tremendous amount of work. That is not something that's just given to you. You have to take your training into your own hands. Your coach isn't always going to be standing there yelling at you. It's not a Rocky thing. Like Mickey and Rocky's story is awesome, but in reality, your trainer has 10 or 15 other students or 20. In our case, we have 70 other students. And you have 3 coaches here. And there's 70 people. The odds of you having a Mickey and Rocky relationship with your coach is very, very rare. So if you guys have that out there, you're very lucky. Most of the stuff you're doing, you have to take what your coach is telling you and then practice it. And when you come back and see him, that part should be done. If I teach you how to throw a jab, you should take that jab home, practice it in the mirror, practice it. When you come back, you should know how to do the jab. And then I get to correct some more. And then we get to go and build from there. And then you practice that. And that's how you build a good base. That's how you build all that good stuff. But it starts with you doing the work. It starts with you running here. Let me ask you this. How close are you to getting your license? What's holding you back? Just going up there and taking a test?
Yeah, I mean.
Push for that. You get your license, then you can drive here. But then you still need to be doing your road work. You still need to be running. I think that I hate running. I didn't run while I was competing.
I actually don't mind running.
Yeah, I didn't run while I was competing. I did not run while I was competing. I would do other things, tire flips, running in place in sprawls, hammering, trying to get my cardio out. I didn't run a lot. I would get up and hit a treadmill for like a mile or so, and then everything I did after that was like hammer flips, stuff like that. I didn't like doing the running, but it was part of my morning routine. I didn't like it. I didn't do a lot of it, but what is it? But that was my morning routine. Is like this treadmill. I'm gonna do this treadmill, and then I'm gonna slam hammers on this tire, and I'm gonna flip these tires, and I'm gonna hit some sprawls and circles, some bear crawl, some inside stride, outside stride. It wasn't just running, but that's just because I didn't like it.
But doing something you don't like, not liking something, but doing it anyway, it's
rewarding.
Make you good, yeah.
Jump ropes is where it's at. I jump rope for hours. I'll jump rope is where it's at. I'll jump rope for hours. But I used to. I don't anymore. But that's my point, is that you have to be putting in some extra work, dude. Like, you can't, if you're going to make it at that level, saying I want to hold up a UFC belt it's not easily done. You can do it, though. I believe you could do it. I truly believe it. But, man, you have to get so much more serious. It's not an easy feat. It's not something that is just going to be given to you. There's going to be people in the world that talk shit about you. There's going to be people in the world that tell you can't do it. There are going to be people in the world tell you to give up that dream, that you need to get a real job like a normal person. You need to go to college. You need to do all this. People are going to tell you all these different things that you need to do that aren't a part of that plan. You have to learn to navigate that in order to chase your goals. You have to learn to navigate that and navigate the things you're doing. Like, you want to be a UFC fighter? You're not going to be able to do the things that other kids your ages are they're doing. You can't go out and get drunk on Friday and Saturday. You can't go out and party or do all that stuff Friday night and Saturday and then expect to get the things that you want. You have to work hard. You have to be willing to sacrifice that time. You have to be willing to sacrifice your sleep to get in the morning classes, to get in that extra knowledge, to get the edge over your opponent. So you say that, but it's just like having a plan. I could say I'm going to be the best coach in the world, but if I'm sleeping in and not helping my guys reach their goals and not coming here to talk to you like I am right now, I'll never be that. I'll never get that recognition as a really good coach.
And I've had one of those would you expect moments, with wrestling and here. Like, I would expect, like, I would put in work. I'd put in work. I wouldn't slack. But it wouldn't be as much as I could have done. And then when I'm not getting better as fast as I want to, I'm just like, okay, what did you expect? You should have been doing this, and this. You could have done more.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because this is for Taylor, actually. We were told by a high-level coach, and I agree because I'm a competitor, but you need 4 things to happen. 4 things to happen because it's going to happen and you have to overcome it. You need to be super prepared and do all you can do and still lose. You need to feel that.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to overcome that. Then you need to be completely unprepared and just go out there and compete and find victory. You need to feel that to know what it's like to go out there completely unprepared and feel victory.
Find the win, yeah.
Find the win. Then you need to be prepared, completely prepared, and find a win. And then you need to, so it's completely prepared, find a win, unprepared.
Your first one was completely prepared and lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not prepared and win. Then you're really prepared and win. Then you're not prepared and lose.
Yep.
Those 4, yeah.
Those 4. And you need all 4 of them. And here's why. Somewhere in the midst of all that is where your best performance is going to lie. Somewhere in that is where your best performance is going to lie. And your best performance is generally highly prepared and win, right? That would be key. But you have to experience the other 3 to kind of know how to navigate what fully prepared for you is, to navigate the mindset and all of that. And Taylor had a deep conversation with he's a coach. I guess he's kind of one of our coaches. He's a mentor of mine for a long time. So
yeah.
But that's what he was saying, and I agree. I've had all of those. I've had them where I just went out and did a tournament and completely unprepared and won. And then I've done them where I just winged it, went out there and got my ass beat in front of everybody. I got so sick I was throwing up. And it sucks, but I've had that happen too. And it makes you a better person. Overcoming that, though. Once you learn how to overcome that and not listen to all the commenters and all the stuff, then you start working towards greatness. So you want to hold up a UFC belt, you want to be an MMA fighter. Last thing I ask everybody on the podcast, and I'm asking you, and then we got to get off here. Have you ever been in a fight?
Yes, sir.
All right. Pick your happiest fight, like the funniest one or your most memorable one. Tell us the story of you in this fight and make us feel like we were there. Like, everything, all the emotions, everything, and try to make us feel like we're sitting there watching it happen. Can you do that?
So I'm gonna do
You got to talk into the microphone, sir.
So I'm gonna do one where before I came here.
And you don't have to name. It could be any year, any time. You don't have to name the person. You can if you want to. I don't care. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it was before. It was about when I first started, and I knew just a little bit of striking, but no more than an average person. So I'm in 8th grade. We're walking in the hallways. It's after lunch. We're all talking as a friend group, and there's this one guy. He's just like, he's just running. He's trying to find a problem. You know, those people try to start things.
Yeah.
And he's just bickering and bickering and bickering and bickering. And at this time, I'm the joking guy. I haven't like fully developed into where I am now to control myself. So I'm like, dude, shut up. Or like, bruh, you're aggravating, you know, calling them names. And he's doing the same thing back. And so we get back in the classroom. And I make this one comment. And all my friends are laughing. And next thing you know, he picks up some, I don't know what he picks up. I can't remember. And he throws it at me and hits me in my face and knocks my glasses off. And me not in control of me, I wouldn't say I blacked out, but like I'd say 2 or 3 seconds of time was like gone. And then I was on top of him punching him. And then teacher broke it up. And then, you know, went to the office, you know, the casual middle school punishment.
So whatever happened in a time, like there was a struggle, and then you ended up being the one on top?
No, sir, actually. It wasn't.
You just
struggle
tackled him and started beating his face in?
I hit him twice, and he fell, and then I just
got on top of him and was hitting him?
Him.
What was the backlash from that?
What do you mean?
Like parents, school, teacher, did you get suspended or did they find out?
I went in school suspension for 3 days because they sort of looked at it as self-defense, but I guess it wasn't like 100% self-defense. Like I didn't have to react that way, but I did, so they got mad at it. My mom was very upset. My mom
I
did
could see
not.
that. That was my question.
My mom got super pissed. She was like, "You shouldn't hit that kid," and she took my phone away for like a week. But my dad was like, you know, he's your dad. He's like, you did what you're supposed to do.
That's my boy.
You don't let nobody just, you know, mess with you or nothing. And so it was confusing for me because I'm like 13 and 2 different sides of the story entered my head. So I don't know which one to believe. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to you. Like you were my third person. Like it would be mom, then it'd be dad. And if I'm confused, I'd go to you. And if I'm confused with you, then I would go to you. I've done that before.
Yeah.
I've done that plenty of times. And I would get just different things, and I'd piece it together, and it'd be one whole thing. And that's why that's what's changed me now about fighting wise. Like now I'm like, okay, I'm a blue belt at jiu-jitsu. Not a lot of people know this. Maybe some close friends. And there's this guy that wants to fight. I don't have to hurt you really bad or potentially kill you to prove a point. I don't have to do that. I can walk away. Like you say, you joke about it all the time. I've got all this room to run. I'm running. I don't care how embarrassing it is. If I've got this parking lot in front of the school, I'm running there. I don't need to engage. People can call me what they want to. I mean, I'm saving him and myself because, like, I don't know what he's capable of doing. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be controlled or if I'm just going to get pissed and then actually hurt this kid. Like, I don't know this. So, you know,
Makes sense.
Take the good way out, you know. Get away.
Makes sense.
I like the answer. I also like how you're getting different advice from different people. One thing that I say, and I say often, is if you want to be a millionaire, you need to surround yourself around millionaires and start adapting the way millionaires think. If you want to be a world champion, then you need to surround yourself around world champions and adapt yourself to the way they think. If you want to be a billionaire, which some people think that that's like impossible, and like millionaire status to a lot of people is not possible. A lot of people think like that's unheard of. It's not. But now you're thinking billionaire, like, oh man, you're dreaming big. No. You surround yourself around people that think like billionaires think. It's a lot easier to become a billionaire than you would think. Yeah, you just have to surround yourself around those people start listening to their ideas and listening to the things that they're doing and start working there. Your starting line may be a lot farther behind than theirs was. But if you start working towards that goal, you'll get there. As long as you just don't stop. As long as you don't get distracted halfway and say, okay, well, I'm a millionaire. That's enough. That's usually what happens is people get comfortable and they quit working hard. And when people quit working hard, they get comfortable, quit working hard, guess what they start doing? Start sliding back down that hill a little bit.
So the goal, then what? You keep going.
No, yeah, and that's what you gotta understand is that you go out there and win a couple fights, you stop working hard. Now you get knocked out in front of everybody. Dang, now you got farther to go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at everything that you're doing and take in advice from the people that their goals and their successes align with yours. I would never take financial advice from somebody who is not or somebody who's making less money than me, unless it was what not to do. You understand what I'm saying? I don't. Yeah, if they're making less money than me, then obviously they didn't do a good job. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do a good job at what they're doing. So I wouldn't listen to that person. But if somebody's doing better than me and they're killing it, I'm gonna pay attention. I'm gonna learn because I want to be where they are. And then when I get where they are, now they're my friend, and now I'm gonna be looking ahead and see who is where I want to be next. And the more I find these people that are where I want to be next, the more I try to spend time and get their time from them so I can learn from them to get to where they are. There's always someone next. And the funny thing is hate don't usually come from the top down. It's hard to find somebody who's doing better than you that's hating on you.
Not liking you, yeah, because they ain't got nothing.
It doesn't matter. You don't matter to them. Usually the hate is coming from underneath. People that are sitting on their couch or not working as hard as you, or people that are jealous or envious of what you're doing. Those are the people that talk shit about you. They're talking shit about you. Is the people that are under you usually. It's very hard to find someone from the top down hating. You see what I'm saying? So usually people that are above you are willing to help you. They're usually the ones that are actually putting their hand out. And it's up to you to be trained and thoughtful enough to pay attention to that and find out like, oh, this person's trying to help me, and take their help. Not be too proud. Not be too proud to take help. I always ask this question, and I've asked it for a long time, but it become kind of famous recently. But if I said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna let you earn $500,000, or I'm gonna give you $1 million," which one would you take?
From
right now, you could earn on your own back. I'm going to give you the opportunity to earn $500,000, or I can just give you $1 million. Which one would you take?
You wouldn't expect this from a 16-year-old at all, but I would choose earning the $500,000.
Actually, I would.
Okay.
And here's why.
Most teenagers would be like, "I'm gonna burn this money. I'm gonna get this money." Like,
yeah,
I don't really hear that much.
But if you actually ask people, most people who say they earn it, I think that's stupid. I 100% think that mindset is stupid.
Wow.
Here's why. How much good can I do with $1 million versus $5 million? How much better off can I be? Let me earn my second $1 million.
It's not what you earn, it's what you do with it.
That's my point, though, is most people will say earn. Oh, I'd rather earn it. I'd rather earn it. I'd rather earn it.
Care about it more.
Dude, that's $500,000 more that I have.
Yeah, but you wouldn't care about it as much.
I wouldn't care how I got it. They gave it to me. So what? I'll earn my second $1 million. I'll use that to do some good. Like my school, whatever. I would use it to do some good. And people argue with that all the time. They're like, "Oh no, I'd rather earn it. Ain't nobody giving me nothing." That's your pride.
Yeah,
that's 100% your pride talking.
I cannot disagree.
That's your ego. That's your pride. I think
Probably
it's
sound like a
silly.
hypocrite for saying that.
Dude, I think it's silly. I think that I would want, like, if I given an option, I'd take the $1 million every time. Not because I'm lazy, not because it's more money and I can do more with it. I can work just as hard to earn my second $1 million as I would have that first 500,000.
Harder.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That is true.
It's
That's true.
and people disagree with this all day long. People disagree with my thought process, but it's not this. Like, all right, now I don't have to earn that $1 million. I don't have to spend my time earning it. So now, not only do I have more money, I have more time to figure out more money and more time to get better, to get to a place ahead. I offered one of my friends recently to help them get a car. They needed a car, and I offered to let them use mine and to help them get their next car. And they was like, no, I'll just save the money and do it myself. And I said, dude, that's your pride. People are here that are trying to help you. Let us help. We care about you. Let us help. No, I want to do it on my own. I'm like, dude, that's a backwards ass way of thinking. I didn't get to where I'm at on my own. Without my gym members, like, dude, one of my gym members today brought soap for the bathroom. Small gesture, brought soap. We've been out of soap for 2 days, and I didn't pay attention to the soap. I have other soap. It's in the laundry room. I just been walking there and washing my hands in the laundry room. Well, most people don't go to the laundry room, so they didn't know we had soap. So what'd they do? He didn't say, hey, y'all out of soap. He brought me soap. And I could have been like, dang, man, I appreciate it, which I did. I said I appreciate it. I also offered to pay him for the soap. But I didn't have to because my gym member lifted me up. He blessed me with the soap. You see what I'm saying? Now, my pride could have been like, man, damn, I dropped the ball. I'm sad. No, it made me feel good because the people around me have my back.
That is true. That is true.
Like, you guys had my back. So
that is a
you see
topic. It's a controversial topic because you like me. I'm one of those people where I'm just like with other things, not necessarily soap. It could just be about working. Like I have to do it myself. Like nobody can be successful for me. I have to be successful myself. I have to put in the work. I have to do the investments. I have to take the risks. People can't be like, hey, I'm going to take the risk for you and then give, like, people aren't going to do that. You have to do it by yourself. Like, that, I've been taught that, but, like,
but if it comes around, if the blessing comes around,
of course.
That's the problem is, and that's part of hanging out with other successful people is realizing that sometimes take the help. Everything doesn't have to be earned 100%. If the help is there, take it. Now, that doesn't mean go around and just abuse it and ask and do all that. But if it's there,
yeah, of course,
dude, take that leg up and then grow from there. Get better from there. And it was a hard lesson. Like Taylor and I's house burned down 2 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. And we had so many people help us and send us money. And I cried. And I cried to Taylor because I felt like I didn't feel like a man or whatever you want to call it because I was taking charity. And everybody's like, no, we want to bless you with this. You do so much for the community. You do so much for everybody around here. We want to help you. And I had to.
You can't just be like,
I had to say thank you, and I had to take the help because I needed it. But it also gave me a whole new perspective on things. It's like when people want to bless you, let them bless you. And then you can use that blessing to bless someone else. But if I'm struggling here, paying a light bill, this is why when people fuss about our prices and things like that, this is why it upsets me. It's like if I'm worried about how I'm going to pay my light bill, am I going to be a good coach? If I'm worried about how I'm going to pay my bills at home, am I going to be a good coach?
No.
No, because my full attention isn't on you guys. But if all of my bills are paid and I'm living good life, when I come in here, you get my undivided attention. I'm not worried about, is my daughter gonna eat, or are we gonna be able to pay our food?
So technically, you're getting what you asked for. Yeah, I mean, if you want this
I
100% coaching black belt one-on-one attention, then this is the price.
Yeah.
But if it's lower, then I can't be here for it if I'm worried about this and that.
I can't mentally be here to do it. So you have to learn to accept the blessings. But anyway, do you got anything you want to cap that off with, sir? Anything you want to say to the world?
Take your advice and start working as hard as I possibly can, because I want to lift the UFC belt. But guys, if you want to succeed, don't give up. Never give up.
Nice. Anything you want to say, Miss? She looks tired.
Yeah. No, this was a good podcast. I liked it.
Awesome. Guys, again, our sponsor, Beard and Chiropractic Care right here in Eastman, Georgia. Strange Matter Invitational right here at TECT Center. TECT Center. Guys, if you're having problems with any of your joints or anything like that, with some pain, go see Beard and Chiropractic Center. Beard and Chiropractic Care in Eastman. If you want to learn how to protect yourself, you want to learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you want to become a competitor, come check us out at TECT Center here in Eastman, Georgia. If you want your kid to compete at a high-level tournament and let them start building a name for themselves on a higher level before they become adults, start earning a way to pay their gym dues as an athlete and stuff like that, check us out as Strange Matter Invitational. We have a Facebook page. We're on Instagram as TECT Center. The group is still through the Facebook group and stuff. But you guys can follow us at TECT Center on Instagram, Coach Jimmy _TECT on Instagram, and the Facebook group, which is Strange Matter Invitational. Then you have Coach Jimmy and TECT Center. All three of those pretty much post along the same lines to let you guys know when our next tournament is. And that's Tech Talk. Man, you guys have an amazing week. That's Coach Dayvion. He's a junior coach for our kids. Dayvion, Huttoe. Coach Taylor. Coach Jimmy, you guys have an amazing day. Peace. Amazing night. Whatever.